Dangerous, very dangerous, because if Anthony Joshua hits him on the chin, he will put him to sleep.
Utter madness that he would run the risk of absolutely jeopardizing his life, because he's not a big heavyweight. He's a small heavyweight. He's 5 inches smaller than Joshua.
This is a real fight. It should be over in 90 seconds because Anthony Joshua is a legit gold medalist, big, super heavyweight, crazy athlete, awesome power, and Jake Paul just isn't on that level in any way. And he's not and he's undersized.
Boxing experts caution that Jake Paul is stepping into extremely dangerous territory by agreeing to fight Anthony Joshua. They emphasize that Joshua's punching power exists on a completely different level from anything Jake has ever experienced. Many believe this matchup crosses safety boundaries and could end badly if Joshua lands clean. Gervonta Davis also warns that a fully sanctioned professional bout.
There is a danger in this fight. The odds are Joshua's 1-12. Obviously, Jake Paul is 6-1. Yeah, to win this fight in a 2-horse race, in which this is a guy who lost to Tommy Fury, Tyson Fury's brother, in an 8-round fight. Who, for me, I wrote that it would damage his legacy a week ago. It will damage his legacy for several reasons. If the Deontay Wilder fight never emerges, which it looks like it isn't, I've been calling for that fight for ages. If those two got in a ring together, it's still a massive fight. It's a dangerous fight to sanction, in my view. It sets the wrong precedent. It is 10-ounce gloves. It is a boxing match. It's not an exhibition. This isn't a 58-year-old Mike Tyson. This is one of the most dangerous finishers in the world, who is probably 5 levels above Jake Paul and a weight division above him. I think it's irresponsible to let those two in a ring together in a proper boxing match. That's my view. It doesn't damage his bank balance, but if he earns 70...
Barry McGuigan's criticism reflects what many veteran boxers genuinely fear. He has witnessed world-class knockout artists for decades, and he says Jake Paul is entering something far beyond entertainment or social media fame. Joshua's knockout power is not hypothetical. It has worked against fighters who are bigger, stronger, and far more experienced than Jake. McGuigan stresses that Jake is essentially a light heavyweight, has never faced an opponent with Joshua's natural size, reach, and elite-level power.
Some people are saying, AJ's grabbing the bag. There's nothing wrong with that, because anybody else, if they got offered that kind of money, they would do it. So, yep. And some people are suggesting it might damage his legacy. Where do you sit with the decision of him taking that fight? And it's a professional 8-round fight as well.
Yes, it's a highly dangerous fight for Jake Paul. I don't know what he's doing, unless they have done some sort of caveat or some sort of agreement that he says he's going to go easy on him, or he's not going to go flat out. But I've been tossing this up and down in my mind and trying to figure how, and under God, when he had agreed to fight someone like Tank Davis, who is several divisions below him, that's more like what Jake Paul does, and then he goes from there to fighting Anthony Joshua. I mean, just look at what happened to Francis Ngannou, who's a big, athletic, tough guy and had gone 12 rounds with Tyson Fury and given him a real ding-dong, and then he gets absolutely obliterated in a round and a half against Joshua. That shows you, despite the fact that he's been knocked out since by Daniel Dubois, who could knock out anybody, by the way, in any weight division or in any era of the heavyweight division. He's such a powerful guy; he could knock anybody out if he hits them properly. But it just seems utter madness. And
according to McGuigan, this is not a fair matchup, but a collision with a fighter who was built to defeat top heavyweights. The danger goes far beyond size. Joshua's timing, uppercuts, counters, and ability to land short, destructive punches are things Jake has never prepared for. McGuigan is frustrated that some fans act like confidence and past wins make the ring safe. To him, this fight is not about hype. It's about how a beginner handles a legitimate heavyweight. We're world-class knockouts.
Of some kind where he says, I won't go hard on him, or I'll go easy, or I'll spar with him for 8 rounds. Because it's just so ridiculous. I mean, if Joshua hits him properly, he'll knock him unconscious. And if he knocks him unconscious and he gets a bleed in his brain and he ends up with a subdural hematoma and goes to hospital and is in dire straits, where does that leave boxing? That puts us in a very, very awkward spot. So it's hard not to believe that they've got some sort of caveat, some sort of agreement whereby, I mean, most heavyweights box with 10-ounce gloves or something.
Dave Allen analyzes Jake Paul's past opponents and highlights a major truth. Jake built his record through safe, controlled matchups where both sides earned money and avoided real danger. But Joshua is nothing like Jake's previous opponents. Joshua is not a celebrity fighter, not a retired athlete, and not a cruiserweight. He is a powerful, active heavyweight with knockout wins over top professionals. Allen warns that if Joshua fights Jake with even half the intensity he uses against elite contenders, Jake will face a level of danger he has never experienced. Even sparring cannot prepare Jake for the impact of full-power heavyweight. His punches in a real fight.
He couldn't beat Tommy. Could he win the area lightweight title? I'm not sure. Don't know who the champion is. If I had a look, I could tell you, but I'm not sure. He then boxes Nate Diaz. So he's boxed 1 boxer so far, if we keep in count, and he's beat none. Then he boxes Andre August, who I believe was a pro, and this is now at 14-3, so he's now actually a cruiserweight. Andre August, I'm not sure. Ryan Borland, 17-2. Again, I'm not sure. But fair play, he's beat 2 boxers here. Beat 2 boxers, what can I say? He then fights Mike Perry, who is an MMA fighter, bare knuckle boxer. He's not a glove boxer. He then fights Mike Tyson, which was an exhibition, weren't it, really, for all intents and purposes. Now, the big jump here is in 4 months, he's put on 2 stone. So he's put on 2 stone in 4 months. He then boxed Julio Cesar Chavez, and he's now lost 2 stone. He's back down at 14-3, and he beat Chavez, who is a boxer, but has been shot to bits for the last 10 years. So, as far as Jake Paul goes, I don't mind Jake Paul. I don't really know what he does or what he is and what he's achieved in boxing. I would say fair play. I'd say, you know what, mate? Why not? I don't blame him. And the money he's made, amazing, buzzing. If people want to watch him box, great. So he started off boxing, I think a YouTuber or 2, basketball player maybe, was he? Some MMA fighters, and he weren't Ngannou, weren't Cyril Gann, weren't Big Madu can box. He was boxing welterweights, middleweights, max, way past the best. But that's also fine because it's an entertainment game and it's okay. That's fine. Loses to Tommy, fights a few pro boxers, he then fights Mike Tyson, which was a professional contest, but for all intents and purposes, a bit of an exhibition because, to be fair to Jake Paul, he could have flattened Mike Tyson at any time. People say Mike Tyson held him up, he held back. If anyone was holding back, it was Jake.
Some analysts argue that the danger is not only for Jake. Joshua's reputation is also on the line. As a top-level heavyweight, Joshua is judged not just for winning, but for how he wins. If Jake lands even 1 clean shot, it could fuel claims that Joshua is losing his sharpness. If the fight becomes messy or closer than expected, critics will attack Joshua's credibility. Even a single viral moment like Jake surviving too long could damage Joshua's public image. That's why experts say this fight is also a trap for Joshua. High pressure, low reward.
It's because even if Joshua wins this fight, it has to be perfect. There cannot be a moment of hesitation from Anthony Joshua. He can't look mentally shot. He can't take a punch, really. If he takes a big punch from Jake Paul, if he gets hurt in any way by Jake Paul, if he doesn't absolutely ice Jake Paul within a few rounds of this 8-round scheduled bout, well, then it really affects his credibility. All the things that have ever been said about him, he's a hype job, he's been coddled. He didn't really want to fight Deontay Wilder when they were both in their prime. He's just a big bodybuilder, as Tyson Fury loves to put it. Anyone who's ever doubted him will have absolute ability to do so. And so the fact that this is actually a sanctioned fight, it tells me that Anthony Joshua cannot be going in there or will not go in there and try to carry Jake Paul. Otherwise, it might as well just be an exhibition. If he does go in there and carry Jake Paul, my fear for him is that most people will not be aware that that's what he's doing. Reputationally, it would just cause serious damage. And like I say, I think the only way he comes out of this unscathed, reputationally, is by going in there and securing a clean knockout. Anthony Joshua can't do anything to boost how people view him as a boxer in this fight. All it can do is damage him unless he's punch perfect. He's fighting someone who realistically has nothing to lose and absolutely everything to gain. And that in itself can be dangerous. It can be risky. And given that Jake Paul has achieved so little, given that Anthony Joshua wants to remain relevant and credible, so it seems, because he has a couple of potentially big fights left, especially against Tyson Fury, why is he doing this? He doesn't want to jeopardize that, surely. Well, I can tell you exactly how I think he has rationalized this in his mind. The first thing is that he's going to get paid an absolute shed load of money. Around 50 million is what we're hearing. I've heard 50 million pounds, 50 million USD, but whatever happens, it's a significant amount of cash. Possibly will be one of his highest ever career paydays, possibly similar to what he'd make for a Tyson Fury fight. But for what? Like 1% of the risk? I don't know. I don't know how to put it in numerical.
Chris Aldry points out that throughout his career, Joshua usually performs exactly as expected depending on the opponent's level. When fans anticipated early knockouts, Joshua delivered them. When they expected a careful fight, he fought strategically because of that pattern. Many believe Joshua could finish Jake Paul in under 2 minutes if he starts.
His reputation as an elite heavyweight. Do you understand the analogy I'm getting to, Chris?
Yeah, and I agree. And but listen, Joshua's done this already. He fought a guy that he was supposed to destroy,
right?
And then he went out there and he destroyed him. And he didn't play with his food. Yep. He didn't say, okay, it was Ngannou I'm talking about, obviously.
Of course.
Who gave Tyson Fury fits and really had everyone questioning Tyson Fury's ability because he struggled with an MMA fighter in his pro boxing debut. Anthony Joshua didn't do that. He went out there and did what we all expected Tyson Fury to do and completely wiped the floor with the guy. And if Joshua doesn't do that this fight, I agree with you, Jimmy. It's going to hurt his stock. It's going to hurt the way that people perceive him moving forward. And also, I think, honestly, and if he doesn't go out there and just lay into Jake Paul and end it in the first, if not second round, to me, it's gonna look fishy to me. It's gonna look like this was a setup. This was an exhibition. This wasn't a real fight. If this is a real fight, it should be over in 90 seconds because Anthony Joshua is a legit gold medalist, super heavyweight, crazy athlete, awesome power, and Jake Paul just isn't on that level in any way. And he's not
aggressively. Algieri warns that if Joshua doesn't dominate the first round, people may begin questioning the legitimacy of the fight. The skill gap is so massive that anything less than a quick knockout could look suspicious to the public. Joshua's ring control, punching technique, and ability to create openings make him extremely dangerous, especially for someone smaller like Jake. If the fight lasts longer than expected, fans might assume
Paul saying that we're running away from him. We're not, mate. We're not running from you. You know, we offered to box you right next door to you, Canada. Anywhere in Canada, because we can't get to America, and you knew we couldn't get there. Offering 15 million. Stand on to your offer. For 15 million, we'll box you anywhere in the world. But I know it ain't going to happen because you're not a stand-on man, are you? Because we've had this way before. Did we not bet you $3 million on national TV in front of the world's media? And what did you do? You welched. You didn't pay. You give us a middle finger. Like your other mate, KSI, he bet me £200,000 in front of the world's media. He never paid. So really, Jake, we can't take your word for nothing, can we? Because what you do, you tread where the grass is low, my old pal, saying that you may have offered $15 million, but you knew full well we can't get into the United States of America. And we did offer to box you next door in Canada. Phone went quiet by you and your manager. But listen, mate, what you say I take with a pinch of salt, my friend, because I told you, put it all in writing, send it to our lawyer. Within 10 weeks, we can be there in the ring with you anywhere in the world except America. But like I say, you say things you don't stand on, do you? 3 million quid. You know, we said, okay, we'll bet. Deal done. Shook hands with me in front of the world's media. You didn't pay, mate. So you offering this and offering that don't mean squat diddly, does it? You or your other mate. In my word, mate, I tell you the truth, mate. Back in the old days, my pal, you'd be called odd pig to a devil, a Welsher, not a man. Can't take your word for no, which you can't anyway. But that's all I'm going to say on it. You want to fight, put your $15 million in writing to our legal team. You can be in the ring with 8 weeks anywhere in the world. That's all I'm going to say to you, mate, except America. You got that loud and clear? But it has to be in writing.
The major concern is that this will be a real, officially recorded professional match, not an exhibition, not a show, and not controlled sparring. For Joshua, losing or struggling would be seen as one of the biggest embarrassments in modern boxing and could overshadow his entire career. For Jake, this is the chance to prove he belongs in real boxing, but the danger is enormous.
This is going on people's records. AJ got to take him serious because this isn't some exhibition. We're running out some judges to act like there's a decision and someone won. No, someone's going to win, someone's going to lose here. It's 8 rounds, 3-minute rounds. Again, heavyweight, pro bout, 10-ounce gloves. AJ talking about breaking internets over faces. I think he meant to say breaking his face on the internet. Who knows? Maybe you can do both in the big 2025. But then you have the weight limit, 245 pounds. And people are automatically going to go, oh, God, here's the thing. Oh, here's the thing in the contract. No, stop all that. And I'm going to go on a rant in a second for all the people that thought this was fake, for all the people that thought that Jake wouldn't do this, for all the people that thought he was scared. I'm going to go on that rant in a second. But, okay, yes, 245 is a weird number because Jake has already fought at heavyweight. He fought Mike Tyson at 220-something. But again, I understand it a little bit. We're on short notice here. You don't want to have a Tyson Fury type situation with AJ.
Experts say that since the result will stay on their official records, every moment of the fight is high stakes. Being a real sanctioned match means both fighters have to take it seriously. This makes it far more intense than any previous influencer fight. With reputations, records, and legacies on the line, this isn't just a crossover event. It's a serious high-risk professional test for both men.
Since this time period. But this was in 2017. AJ was the heavyweight world champion. Jake was on red carpets for Bizarre Barks on the Disney Channel, looking like every fuckboy that came out of the Vine era. This shouldn't be the reality that we're living in. Now, I've sat here and I've asked myself over and over and over, what's the upside for Jake here? What's the upside? Because he can make money with everybody, right? Jake can make money fighting Gervonta Davis. He can make money fighting freaking Ryan Borland and Andre Agassi. He can make money fighting Mike Tyson and Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. And I'm just asking myself, stop asking me 267 million. Okay, yeah. If that's a real number, there's no context there. I don't know if that's referring to something else, but if Jake is getting paid 260